Lawyers are held to a high standard and they have a duty to do the right thing while representing their clients and practicing law. You may not know this, but lawyers have a code of professional responsibility that they should follow. Our guest today knows all about professional responsibility because attorney Nikki Booth Perry teaches at the Florida A&M College of Law right here in downtown Orlando, and she's also the interim dean. Welcome, Dean Booth Perry.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So good to have you.
Yes, I'm pleased to be here.
Tell us about professional responsibility for attorneys.
Well, professional responsibility just generally is the responsibility that someone would have to their profession. It's particularly important for lawyers because as lawyers we're held to a higher standard. And so we have different responsibilities, not just to the profession, not just to our clients, but to society as a whole. There's something called a social contract that lawyers have with society, and we're basically in a contract with society to make sure that we have appropriate duties, that we are protecting, upholding the rule of law, that we are protecting our clients, and that we are really protecting the integrity of the profession.
And what would you say is the most important thing about professional responsibility when it comes to the public impression of attorneys?
So we all know that there are a plethora of lawyer jokes. Anybody can tell you a lawyer joke, and lawyers typically have a fairly bad reputation, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate because there are a lot of really, really amazing lawyers in society. So in part because we have that negative perception, it's almost more important for lawyers to uphold those responsibilities that we not just hold dear, but that we are held accountable to. Every lawyer who is a licensed practicing attorney is accountable to the rules of professional responsibility in whatever jurisdiction it is that they're practicing in. And so there are ethical rules that we do have to abide by. But above and beyond those ethical rules, it's just a duty of professionalism that we have not just towards each other, not just towards the judiciary, but also towards the entire justice system and towards the public. So it's critically important for lawyers, particularly because of what we do, that we have to have that professional responsibility.
I agree. And tell me about your path. You're interim dean now at FAMU College of Law,
Yes.
Florida A&M College of Law. What was your path into the law, and what are some of the tips about professional responsibility that you think landed this position for you?
So I went to law school. I went to University of Florida undergraduate. I went to Florida State University for law school. And I came to Orlando and I started working for a firm. I was doing insurance defense. So I was a litigator for almost 10 years. And so I was in the court system, and I was in a very adversarial position in the court system because I was representing insurance companies and there were injured plaintiffs or claimants. And so throughout that process was where I started finding the importance of really adhering to the ethical rules, which if we don't adhere to them, we can get disbarred. So there is, that reason why we need to adhere to them, but also why it's important to have a high degree of professionalism, not just for your success in the case, but for your success in the career. In fact, there are empirical studies that show that lawyers who have a high degree of professionalism actually have a higher quality of life as a lawyer. It's a very stressful job. So if you can practice it in such a way that you have, civility towards other people in the profession, towards society, towards the judiciary, it makes all the difference. So I litigated for almost 10 years, and Florida A&M University, the College of Law, came to Orlando, which was a really exciting time for us. And at the time, I was fine at the firm, and one of my law school classmates was a professor at the law school, and in conversations with her and the then dean, they asked me to come to the law school to create the Garden Ad Litem Clinic. That was my pro bono work that I had done for many years. So I took a sabbatical from my firm, and I went to the law school, and 15 years later, I'm still there. So I was on the faculty teaching required courses, torts and professional responsibility. I taught consumer law in the Garden Ad Litem Clinic, and then about a year and a half ago, I was asked to be the associate dean. So I was associate dean for about 13 months before I was appointed to interim dean a few months ago.
And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And before we wrap it up, or as we wrap it up, what quickly would you say about social media in this day and age and how it's affecting professional responsibility?
So social media is just a part of our lives now. It's no escaping it, no matter what profession, what segment of society you're in. Lawyers actually can use social media to their benefit for networking, for marketing, for communications. However, there are some hidden dangers in social media that lawyers need to be really aware of and really pay keen attention to. We currently don't have any specific ethical rules that address social media, but we have other ethical rules that talk about confidentiality, about upholding the judiciary, about not doing anything untrustworthy, not divulging information in pending litigation. And so it's easier with social media for some of these things to happen. You know, we have attorneys who will go on social media and make comments about their cases, which could be problematic. It might be a violation of Rule 1.6, which is a confidentiality rule. Right. They might speak about cases that they shouldn't, which might be a violation of Rule 3.6. So there are some really hidden dangers in social media that lawyers are becoming a bit more aware about and paying a little bit more attention to, but it's really important, particularly because we have to uphold the integrity of the profession, lawyers' behavior that might also be shown on social media. Everybody has a camera. Right. So everything that you do, everywhere that you go, you are fodder for some social media post. And so it's important for lawyers to keep that in mind, especially the young lawyers, because this is how they grew up with this social media. It's part and parcel of their life and they take it for granted. But as a lawyer, because you have that professional responsibility, it's important for them to pay attention to their actions inside and outside of the courtroom.
Absolutely. Well, Dean Booth Perry, we certainly thank you for joining us today on Legal Connections and sharing with us a bit about professional responsibility.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Well, that's great information to know. Lawyers have a code of professional conduct to abide by. We really appreciate the insight of Dean Booth Perry.